For the many trying to figure out what reconciliation looks like, how we move forward, perhaps look no further than John and Nancy Denham and Terry Alec. Check out Terry's vest, which has come to symbolize an improbable bond.
My relationship with Terry is unlikely in that I'm a, privileged white male. And in our society, there's a lot of privilege that goes along with that. And Terry's not. As I heard more of his story, for him and I to sort of, connect just seemed more and more unlikely.
It starts when Terry first arrived in Sechelt, eager to distance himself from a court case that consumed much of his life. The case was the first in Canada launched by residential school survivors. Terry and other students were raped repeatedly by a dorm supervisor at St. George's Residential School. Terry hid that shame for years until he was on the brink of suicide.
I'm looking down the barrel of a .30-30 rifle. Bullet, and all I had to do was push that trigger, and I wouldn't be standing here.
Instead, he joined other survivors. Together, they spoke out and sued the church and government, eventually winning, a turning point in his healing journey. But it would take ages for him to trust anyone who was white.
White people in general, because it was white man that abused me, and so that trust is broken when that 9-year-old Terry was being abused by a white guy. From that age on, I couldn't trust for the longest time.
Meanwhile, a happy couple from Sechelt's Anglican congregation, Nancy and John, were heading home from a cross-Canada vacation. In Winnipeg, they stumbled on the first gathering of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. They were stunned.
The realization that kids had gone to schools and died there was just unimaginable. And that shocked me. And I wanted to know more about that. How did that happen? Why did it happen? What's going on? And I think we got back and wanted to know more, but where do you find that out?
Upon return, they signed up for a drum-making workshop with Terry.
I could see their compassion and their caring in the work that they were doing. It's like, wow, okay, that's a journey.
The drum group became a monthly thing, led by Terry and his partner Christine, hosted at the church, mostly non-natives.
It is weird. It is cross-cultural. We're being welcomed and invited, and we're responding with as much openness as we can. I think doing everything in Circle would be the best way to work in the world anyway. Circles for everything.
The circle certainly widened for John and Nancy. They got to know their native neighbors and raised money for them to attend healing events. They put on education workshops, went on a canoe journey. They made a personal reconciliation pledge.
I do feel responsible for what is going on now. Things as tragic as residential school are still happening today. And that's why we're doing these things. That's why I'm doing these things, is both for my own self, but also, I think Canadians need to know what's going on here.
And we have 6 grandchildren. That's why we're doing it. Because it's their future we're talking about. And it's the truth.
They just raised $30,000 to commission a local memorial for children who died at residential school.
I'm dumbfounded by how much work they've put in.
Michel Beauvais, whose grandma was a survivor, says he hopes his marble memorial illuminates past and present-day traumas.
Because there's still people who think that, that was a good thing for them.
The schools?
The schools. And we're helping, and so on. So that view still exists. You hear it still. So that has to change.
So then now, John, I'll go crisscross. I'll just go up there and there.
And that vest, handmade by Nancy, John beaded the 2-row wampum, their token of respect for Terry. They also lobbied the Anglican Church to honor Terry in Ottawa at the TRC gathering.
Thank you. Yeah. Dear.
If he hadn't put that gun and pulled that trigger, maybe we wouldn't be where we are today. Maybe we are where we are today by one man choosing to live and to heal. And can we raise him up and say, this is how it's done for all of us?
Nancy and John, they're like brothers and sisters to me. That bridging of two worlds just happened naturally, just by sharing about an experience that was horrible in Canadian history.
Sharing that horrible experience was maybe the easy part. The hard work will be working together as neighbors, partners, friends to correct the injustices of the past. Duncan McHugh, CBC News, Vancouver.